Roll call, please.
President Byrne.
Here.
Trustee Markwart.
Here.
Trustee Cook.
Here.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Here.
Trustee Brown.
Here.
Trustee Takaoka. Trustee Schultz.
We have a quorum present. Everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, are there any citizens here that want to speak to any issue other than what's on committee of the whole? No? Okay. Well, with that said, I'll only do my first page. Okay. I hate it. I've been jumbling it around. Oh, there it is, yeah. Okay, first item, special board meeting, October 23rd, 2018 at 6 p.m. Okay, we need any elaboration on that?
Just elaboration, that'll be a closed session meeting to discuss personnel pursuant to Section 2C2
Right.
of the Illinois Open Meetings Act.
Okay, next regular board meeting is November 7th, 2018 at 7 p.m. Village Manager Flesh Hour.
Just a reminder, Election Day is November 6th, which is why the board meeting was moved to the 7th. Polls open at 6 a.m., close at 7 p.m., and the polling place has changed since last year. What used to be in the Lashin Center next door, the polling place is here in the Village Hall in our new conference center here up on the first floor.
Okay. And then we're going to put that, obviously, on the website. And,
It's everywhere.
yeah, okay. On the sign, of course.
It's on the
Yeah.
sign as well already.
All right. Is the chief here? Oh, it's the deputy chief. You want to speak to this one?
And he is here.
It's my turn. Yeah, I have a speaking part tonight.
There you go.
Obviously, the chief has talked to the board about this previously. This is on your omnibus ordinance number 18137, which will authorize the village to enter an intergovernmental agreement with several other jurisdictions, reference regional 911 consolidation. We've already paid into this, and this is the intergovernmental agreement that will accompany it.
Yeah, okay. Did he use any kind of, I guess, software like that Blackboard Direct? The one that we have that calls everybody in about 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Did they have that?
Does this organization have it, this
Yeah, the
committee?
911.
Not yet, no,
Okay,
no.
okay.
It's in its infancy stages. The chief and the village manager are working together with the other jurisdictions. They've just selected a project manager, Jim Hawkins. He's actually was with us today, and he'll be with us the next couple days and with Countryside to look at our operations as we talk about regionalizing communications in Lake County.
Okay. And since I brought up Blackboard Direct, if you want to be called on your cell phone, you need to give your cell phone number to the village. And that's if like a train derails or something, or a tornado comes at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It calls everybody in a hurry. And if you already got a landline, it calls that automatically. But I know more and more people are just, using their cell phones. So you can, basically you can go online and register. Yeah, so if you go to our website, it would explain to you how to register your cell phone so you get the emergency call. So, okay.
Can I say one more thing, Mayor?
You want to say something?
I do.
Yeah.
We've posted on our Facebook page the trick-or-treating hours, which are on Wednesday, October 31st from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Also, you can see up on the board here, we did a Halloween safety notice We always have fun with that each year, and we encourage everyone to take a look at that.
Wow.
Thank you.
You turn the sound on, I'd like to.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice getup.
You'll recognize some of these actors.
Well, it's hard to recognize the one with the mask on.
Ah,
Who is it?
it's Kim.
That was Kim Christian,
It's
yeah.
Kim.
Oh,
There's
oh,
Kim.
oh, okay.
There's Kim
All
too.
right.
It's,
Okay.
in fact, he's working out.
Yeah, nice. Okay. All right. Okay, thanks, Deputy Chief Zimmer. All right, Public Works Director, he's not here. Building Commissioner? No. All right. Is there a motion to approve the omnibus vote agenda, A through E?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Motion is second. Any comments or questions? If not, roll call.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Takaoka?
Motion carries. Okay, unfinished business, approval of village board meeting minutes of, October 2nd, 2018. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Comments, questions, deletions, corrections? If none, roll call.
Trustee Cook?
Abstain?
Trustee Oppenheim?
Aye.
Trustee Takaoka? Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Motion carries. You got a pen down there in that pen? I only need one.
Well, one doesn't work.
All right, thanks. Okay, motion carries. Okay,
Did you need to vote aye?
I don't know.
Yeah, you needed to vote aye.
Oh, do I? Okay. I'll vote aye.
Fourth, yeah.
Okay, motion carries. B, proposed amendment changes to Chapter 26, smoke-free air regulations, and Chapter 10, tobacco sales and sales of smokeless tobacco, e-cigarettes, or alternative nicotine products. Building Commissioner Atkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And the amendments were prepared by the village attorney after comments received by the village board over a couple of meetings. It actually captures two different parts of the code to cover three primary topics. The first one would be regarding an amendment to Chapter 10 regarding retail sales of tobacco products. We had a meeting where we discussed the minimum age and the minimum selling requirements. It was agreed by the board that 21 would be the appropriate age to sell and/or purchase. Our ordinance already required 21 years of age to purchase, so the amendment would include a requirement that you be 21 years of age to sell the product. Also, the definitions will be modified to include vaping as part of the restrictions. So in terms of the sale or purchase of any tobacco product, those same requirements would apply to a vaping product as well. You have to be 21 years of age to buy, 21 years of age to sell. So that's part one of the amendments that were put together. Part two has to do with the smoking ordinance, section 26 of Article 3. And in that part of the ordinance, again, vaping has been included within the definition. So wherever you are permitted to, you are prohibited to smoke in public places, you also cannot vape. Secondly, it's been clearly delineated that you cannot smoke or vape anywhere within an outdoor dining establishment. And then thirdly, the distance, and this is for board discussion, the distance right now per state regulations and our ordinance would be a minimum of 15 feet from a main door for you to be able to smoke. That would be increased to 50 feet from a main door of a building. So those amendments have been prepared for you again by the village attorney. They're attached to your packet and they're outlined in red. Other things that the staff would look for feedback on is questions related to outdoor areas such as the VHAC. Should we prohibit smoking in the VHAC? Should we prohibit it just in the playing fields, or the playing fields and the parking lot, or is that possibly even too restrictive? And other types of questions as well. We've done further research on lounges and things along those lines, and we've determined that the Smoke-Free Illinois Act already prohibits that in a lounge. So we're-
Where's the 50 feet rule? It's just something we can make up?
Correct.
Okay, and what
We-
is
we-
it
well,
now,
we-
25?
15.
Right now, it's 15.
Okay.
And that's for your consideration. That's why it was put in there. Right now, it's at 15. If the board wants to consider a larger dimension, that's fine. 50 was put in there, but we're listening for your direction on that.
Yeah, okay.
What is state again currently?
15 feet.
15.
Yeah, 1-5.
But,
It's 15, it's 15 feet from the entrance to an enclosed space.
Yeah.
Or,
That's all
or
entrances,
all entrances to enclosed spaces, or to venting or openings on the side of a building. So 15 feet from that.
the reason,
So-
well, I'll bring up the reason, Dr. Day, you should probably, the reason for it too is that there are situations are is that there are some establishments where the seating area is close to the entrance area. And actually, I know that actually, Dr. Dave actually had been involved with it in another village. I know for myself, I've been at the Starbucks here, and it's not permitted more than 15 feet. They even have a label that's on the table that they're showing. So this is why the ruling, I think, is a
Well,
important.
and then you got, you know, public places slash, private buildings where they say you can't smoke anywhere on the property, so. I mean, and that's up to the individual owner,
Correct.
Now, is that totally enforceable?
Is-
I mean, from,
50 feet.
By them on their property.
The amendment.
yeah, it's fine.
yeah.
I
It
ju-
is.
Okay,
The Indoor Smoking Act applies whether it's a private business or whether it's,
yeah, but I mean, to actually say not even in the parking lot or anything.
well, you certainly can say, yeah, I mean, you can make that prohibition broader than what the state has. The state has not preempted our area of regulation in this area, so
Yeah, okay.
we can do that. I would clarify just a couple things. In terms of Chapter 10, it not only talks about selling and buying, it also talks about possessing age, which is important. And secondly, with respect to the VHAC, as presently drafted, this would ban smoking or vaping in the VHAC. The issue that was raised in the cover memo that was sent out basically was just to alert everyone that it is that broad of a ban, and to make sure people were thinking about, is it okay, or is there some modification that you'd like to see, that, all right, it can't be in the playing fields, but maybe it can be in the parking lot or what have you. It was just really to prompt that discussion. But as presently written, it would be the entire VHAC.
All right, Trustee Brown.
And this is just smoking, not all tobacco products like dipping or chewing. Is that going to be allowed, or is it just the smoking?
You're just gonna spit it out. I mean, how are you gonna legislate that one? I mean, if you're outside,
Yeah.
Actually,
Well, there's no
It-
There's
secondhand
no,
effect.
there's no
there's no
second.
secondhand effect, but I believe the way it's drafted, it talks about using tobacco products.
So it does include that.
Yes.
So,
okay. Trustee Oppenheim,
am I next, or did you?
or you want Tom
So-
to go?
No, let him.
No, thank you. So, thank you, first of all, for addressing this issue. There were a number of things that I wanted to bring up. First of all, to clarify, my concern about the 15 feet specifically was that there are eating establishments where some of the tables are within 15 feet, but many of the tables are not within 15 feet, especially even within our new Melody Farm development. I've noticed that. So people could theoretically be smoking, sitting at a table with a waitress or waiter serving them. I do have a little bit, I have some concerns about how this is drafted. Despite, despite my ideal of eliminating smoking altogether, I think we would, we don't want to overreach. And I'm a little concerned about the 50 feet being considered too draconian from one.
Right.
And the other thing is the way it's written. We got rid of the passage that talks about enclosed spaces. So now it's any public space. Is that correct? I'm flipping back through here. Section 26-4 is prohibition in unenclosed public places, and that was rescinded.
That's just the vehicle, right?
That,
Well, school grounds, other areas like that. So the ordinance as it previously, or I guess as it currently exists, used to delineate between enclosed spaces and unenclosed spaces. And what we've done is essentially combine those regulations and remove the delineation of enclosed versus unenclosed and just simply say, you know, if it's indoors, then it's banned, and it's banned within a certain number of feet. We proposed 50 on the outside. And then when you're dealing with what are, in essence, unenclosed places, things as parks and so forth, it's banned in public places as well.
so section 26-3, prohibition in public places, it says except as provided in 26-7, it's unlawful to smoke in any public place and shall be unlawful, blah, 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 blah.
And
Says-
26.7 is where it previously said smoking is not regulated in those areas.
Right, but now, so I guess I'm a little confused. Where is smoking allowed then within the village?
It's smoking where it's not regulated, which is 26.7. So private dwellings, any hotels or motels that have that specific designation, there's the nursing home, there's the on the golf course, entertainment facilities in which smoking is part of the actual performance.
Right. So how about a parking lot in Melody Farm or at the mall? Is that allowed or disallowed?
Yeah, when
Well-
you say public space, I mean,
I can
'Cause-
answer
'cause
that.
I'm
within the
driving down
definition
Route
of public
45,
space,
it's
A couple,
that's-
couple of points. To answer that question specifically, if you can find a spot that's 50 feet away from a door in Melody Farm, the way this is written, then you'd be allowed to smoke there. So
Well,
be-
well,
so
the
I-
definition of public place says common or public areas, including without limitation, blah, 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 that's of apartment buildings or of, see,
Yeah, and then I wanted to refer you to that definition because that's where you'll see the prohibition at schools, arenas with fixed seating. Those that
Right.
you were referencing in 26.3 have been moved to the definition of public space. And so where we prohibit public space, now we're prohibiting it. It's just moved and
Well,
just cleans up the
And
ordinance. really,
plus,
so.
plus you gotta look at, I mean, yeah, draconian, punitive, what have you. I mean, you know, what kind of burden are we gonna put on the police to enforce all this? You know?
Right.
And I mean, some guy's walking his dog through the park and he's smoking a cigarette or chewing, you know what I mean? It's like, was somebody gonna chase him down? I mean, you know,
well, it's already not, it's not allowed within some of the parks already based on
yeah,
park rules, is that
and
correct?
I don't think there's any question, especially, you know,
Right.
if there's, with the ball fields and all that, where the kids gather and the
Right.
parents
Park
gather.
District does not allow smoking.
Yeah.
There's also an exclusion for somebody who's walking by on a sidewalk. For
Yeah.
example,
So-
the 50-foot requirement or the 15-foot requirement doesn't apply if someone is simply passing by. The point is people loitering near an entrance and creating that cloud of smoke that we've all experienced as you walk through.
Right. Does the deputy chief want to weigh in on this?
Well,
one?
if you talk about enforcement, I mean, whatever you come up with, we are going to rely on the businesses to self-enforce this, and we're only going to respond if they can't do that, or if there's a complaint, if the park district complaining,
Right.
or residents complaining. Otherwise, We're not gonna be chasing a guy down smoking in the park.
Yeah, okay. Trustee Cook. Do you want to keep going, Dak? Okay.
Well, let him speak, and then
Well, what
then
I
might
want to follow up
reserve the
is
right.
what, because you were talking about with the food serving, and I thought one of the things we were going to look at, and I think it's something we could do, it could be 15 feet from an entrance or an area where food is served. In other words, could we make it that if there is outdoor food service, that you have to be 15 feet beyond that?
Well,
I think
certain-
wouldn't most restaurants not allow it even outside?
No, that's
No,
the
that's
problem with
the
the current
problem.
statute, the way it's
Right.
written.
That's
Oh.
why we need.
It says, it basically is confined to indoor areas under the
Right.
state act, and people can sit outside, order a cheeseburger, and the guy next to you can be smoking, and it's not a violation of the state act as presently written.
So
These-
can we change it to say 15 feet from an entrance?
we
or
certainly,
15 feet from any outdoor food service?
we certainly can do that. The question was, the thought was that there were certain inconsistencies within our code that we thought we should
Right.
address, and that's what they've presented to us. And I guess I'll throw it out to you guys. Do you feel 50 feet is too much? Should we put it at 25 feet, which a lot of the ordinances?
I mean,
have,
If you're trying to
Perfect.
ban it in an eating area, or to avoid the nuisance or distraction for people who are eating, the question becomes, at what distance
At what
does
distance
somebody
is
not
perfect.
smell the cigarette burning
Right.
when they're dining?
The 15 seems to be working, but I would like to expand it beyond outdoor
eating area.
seating, yeah.
I personally I'd like to see 25 and include 25 feet from any eating space,
Eating or entrance?
eating or entrance, right?
well, or do you know, have them, put up some kind of a barrier and make sure it's 25 feet away from the other tables?
In other words,
No, the idea is not
sidewalk?
to have it at any tables,
Yeah,
but,
oh,
but
that'd be, yeah,
No,
that's
no.
fine with me.
I've
I
seen it
mean,
on a table.
No,
what, I'm sorry?
I've seen it marked on a table.
Yeah,
On
well,
it,
the
on
the
it.
whole goal is to,
It's
it's,
on the table
but
itself.
some of that is still left up to the owner within
If
reason.
you're marking it on the tabletop, then I guess you're allowing it within the eating area or
Right.
within the restaurant or one of the outdoor sitting areas.
the,
So the way this is written, no food can be served there, or no smoking can be where food is served.
right.
right.
Okay.
Yep.
Where I saw this is a Starbucks here in town, and the thing is that the entrance area and the seating area is outside the entrance. It was more than 15 feet, so apparently they don't allow it at all.
Well, or under the current state law, because it's outside, it's not governed by the state statute, so what they're showing you on that table is the point at which you're 15 feet from the entrance. They're not restricting what you're doing at the table, they're just showing you have to be at least that far away from the entrance to be smoking near the entrance.
Maybe it was on the curb almost.
But,
So-
yeah,
But I'd like to go beyond that.
but the 25 feet outdoors, we can do that?
Absolutely.
Okay, but where I'm coming from, where I said with a barrier, okay, so no smoking period within 25 feet still of the door?
No, of the tables, of
The table or the
Okay.
door.
Yeah,
Okay,
of an entrance
Yeah.
or an outdoor food.
or an outdoor food.
all right, well, let's go with that.
Because 15 feet, I mean,
I'm agreeable
just,
with that.
just the other day, I was walking into the mall, and there were some people, I don't know if they were of age or not, but I was thinking, wow, is that 15 feet? It looks like around 12 feet. I couldn't tell, but 25 feet
We
seems
might
a
have
little
to
more
mark
obvious.
the spot.
Well,
Perhaps.
I mean, that is a possibility if you wanted to go to that effort, is to include a marking requirement that there be some sort of a marking, but then you're going to have markings, in
Yeah,
your
I don't-
shopping centers, you're
Yeah, I
going to
don't think we want to do that.
down every door.
Yeah, we'd have paint all over the ground everywhere where people are. I think this will serve its purpose as long as we don't overreach. And I think the majority of the community would appreciate it.
Okay, and gonna
So-
come back with the final draft?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
Anybody
include- we'll
else want to
include the-
comment on this?
I'm fine with it, so.
Just on, if the board is making a determination, and I'm hearing you're happy with nowhere in a dining area, and then I'm not sure if are we down to 25 feet from a door or a dining area?
Yeah.
Does the
Yeah.
board wish to direct staff to prepare an ordinance to that effect?
Yeah,
The board would,
Board,
the
Okay.
board wishes to direct staff to prepare
Great.
such an
And then
ordinance.
also to direct us to amend Section 6 regarding the sale and purchase
Oh,
and
that.
possession of tobacco and vape products. Is that could that be a
Yeah.
motion?
Now, what I saw written here, I thought somewhere was we also, did it include the age of possession?
Correct.
So we need to have
That's-
discussions about that as well.
So, currently, the ordinance reads 21 purchase or possess, 18 to
Right.
sell.
I'm sorry, what we have currently, not this, but currently it's,
It's
Or you're saying-
21 to purchase, 18 to sell.
Yeah,
18 to
currently
sell.
the ordinance says 21 to
not the proposed ordinance.
purchase. Yeah, the current ordinance says 21 to purchase, so we're good there.
Yeah,
Possession, you only have to be 18. So
Right.
as put in front of you, that would be changed to 21.
right,
And then to sell it, it currently says 18. That would be changed to 21 as well.
right. So certainly, as we spoke about whenever the smoking 21 issue came up, I was certainly in favor of changing the possession age to 21. However, I know trustee Schultz privately said to me that he's not in favor of that. And I don't know how the rest of you feel about that. And as I recall, Chief Crease was not in favor of that in terms of the enforcement aspect. Personally, I think it's a good idea that the same person who's allowed to sell it is the one who's allowed to use it. And then there's less of an issue of transference, even though that's illegal. I think it's easier to enforce that aspect. And I've read that even at military bases, they're now changing to 21 to smoke, even for their 18-year-old recruits, as I've understood.
What is the state possession?
there's
It's
Possession
18.
18.
18
And
is-
and the chief's concern, as I recall, was
think
that
it makes-
you could be 18 in Mundelein and purchase a pack of cigarettes,
Right.
and now you're in Vernon Hills, you have no idea the age is 21 in Vernon
And that was
Hills,
the
and there you are
problem,
with your pack.
as long as the state maintains 18 possession, it becomes extremely difficult for our law enforcement to try and enforce a different possession. It's easy to enforce the sale, but but the possession becomes much more difficult. What we need to do is push for the state to go up to 21.
Well, Rounders already vetoed that, but
I know, but I
not
mean-
necessarily for the same reason or on the same ground with what else was
Right.
hooked into that bill, but
Well, your sentiments, trustee Cook, are exactly what I remember the police chief saying
Yeah,
when we
and-
last
and-
talked.
And Chief brought that up, and that is a valid point.
Would you like to speak?
on the other hand,
it
you're
is-
dealing with local ordinance violations primarily,
Yeah.
not criminal conduct, not
Correct.
criminal charges.
Yeah.
Correct.
That is the point. I mean, if we have all these visitors, kids coming to town, and in one jurisdiction they can do it, then they pop into Vernon Hills, it's legal and
Don't
it's
want to
tough.
enforce it that
Yeah.
way.
tough
Is this really
to
any
enforce
different,
that.
though, than 20 years ago when it was legal to drink in Wisconsin at 18, and Illinois you had to be 21, and literally you could be 100 feet on either side of the border, and then the rule was different? I mean, at some point,
Right, and that's why there was the push to have Wisconsin raise it, and that's what I'm saying is, as long as Mundelein is not there, the possession, I think, is a problem. The sale, I'm fine with, but I think the possession becomes too difficult to enforce.
Correct.
None of our neighbors are there.
Do you think any of our neighbors
None
would
of
be interested in going there if we were it's got to start somewhere.
I think you might have a strong advocate in the Stevenson School District with their Stand Strong coalition.
Absolutely. So you already said that you wouldn't be chasing after people who were smoking within 15 feet. Obviously, it's not really going to come up that you're going to be chasing after them because you're not going to know how old they are. But if you happen to stop someone and find out that they are underage, then maybe you'll give them an extra ticket or a warning. So I'm not exactly sure how it really differs in that regard.
Put more
Would you like
burden
to
on the
comment?
police, though.
It doesn't. I mean, it would, an enforcement purpose, you're right, it'll be an ordinance ticket, or when we change over to adjudication, a municipal ticket, it's that 18-year-old or 19-year-old that lives in a different town can possess it legally in the state of Illinois, maybe almost anywhere except for Vernon Hills, and now you are taking law enforcement action on them in our town. Certainly we could do it. You're right, it would just be an extra ticket, but has an impact on that person, on that family, when it's legal in several other jurisdictions. So it's just something to think about.
Somebody thrown out, don't.
Yeah,
don't
as,
put-
as,
don't-
a- as a regional
police it.
shopping area, I just think that's far too hard to enforce.
Yeah, we're going too
And,
far.
and yeah, I would imagine a test case of that would be easy to turn over, but I just think, until we can get the state to do it, I just think it's,
Well, as a regional shopping area, they're not allowed to smoke anywhere within the
no,
shopping
but I
area.
mean,
So,
but they,
there's-
no, you're not talking about them smoking. You're talking about them having cigarettes in their pocket.
Yeah.
It's now a violation.
right. But no one's going to
But
know that.
it wasn't when until
Right.
they crossed our border, and I just have a problem with that.
I have a problem with it too, because I don't, our police force has enough to do than to deal with this. I don't, and until the state does it, then fine, but I'm not for it.
I was just going to ask, if they couldn't purchase it legally, how is it that they're possessing it?
No, they purchased it legally in Mundelein,
No,
When they came across.
and it was in their pocket, and they drove to the mall,
Well,
and
you-
they still had it in their pocket.
We're talking about a 21 age purchase price,
In Vernon Hills.
which is what the current ordinance is.
No, no.
Right, no, but he's saying if
no.
they
I'm
purchased it
talking
in
about
Mundelein.
In another town where it's legal at 18,
18,
To purchase it.
correct.
purchase it, and he comes,
And that's the
And then they
state
come
law
here,
too, right?
And, yes,
that is correct.
and then they come here, and we're saying you can't even possess it, that,
I wouldn't go there.
I wouldn't put that burden on the police.
No.
I wouldn't.
It just provides, I mean, everything. It used to be, cell phones used to be that way. You could use them in one jurisdiction, then we all got on board with it. But when we become stricter than what our neighbors are, what the state is, it can provide some difficulties.
Well,
and
I
it'd be
mean, if you-
less
But it
attractive to come to our
Didn't-
community.
Well, didn't it start that way with cell phones before it
did.
became a state law?
And I
So-
think there was advocate for a push to do this
Right.
Okay, where
statewide.
would, where
So
would
that's what we would be doing. We'd be the new jurisdiction to push for.
I
for
got a
something like
question
that.
for,
I mean, there's no good use for smoking, none. I mean, health-wise.
Don't have an argument out
Right,
with that.
exactly.
okay,
So-
wait a
and
second.
I don't disagree with
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Wait, would we be adjudicating like here on a ticket they wrote for smoking?
Well, that'll be up on the next agenda, but yeah, there's an administrative adjudication ordinance
Yeah,
that would.
be like the parking tickets.
Right.
Yeah, okay, well, I mean, if it's, again, by happenstance, because, you know, the kid rolls down the window and, you know, you get blown over by the smoke and it's not weed, you know, you could just, we could give the discretion to our officers that you could write a ticket and then you come here, what, on a Wednesday night? Yeah. Yeah, because until the state says, okay, it's 21, you know, I mean, where are you going with it? I mean,
Be
if it
patient.
comes here, they might pay it, okay?
Right.
But if they
I mean,
decide,
this isn't a money-making issue.
well, no,
of
I
course,
understand it. But could, Keith, could they actually petition, I want to go to court?
Yes.
Very good.
Well,
Under
then
the
that would
administrative
really- yeah.
adjudication statute, the defendant, if you will, the person who's cited, has the option to either go or to go to court.
Right.
So then you're saying that
That would be problematic if, you know, we could try it. I don't care about trying it, but I don't want the police officers, you know,
Although I
going
would
out of
say-
their way.
I've never seen a defendant that opted for court as opposed to a non-criminal adjudication process.
Yeah, well, you know, you know,
That's not real bright, of course.
So there's some lawyer that'll
Well-
set up a practice. Yeah, if you get a ticket in Vernon Hills, for Christ's sake, I'll get you over to the Mundelein courthouse and you'll be exonerated.
Well, no, because that's not the case, because it's still an ordinance violation. It's still being prosecuted by the village prosecutor to enforce the local ordinance, and the court would evaluate the case under the local ordinance, not under the state law. Because what he's being cited with is a violation of the local ordinance.
So the judge would have no,
The judge will say, if
would-
the ordinance says 21, it's 21. If it's
21.
only 19, sorry.
he couldn't say, well, everywhere else in the state it's 18 and therefore he has to abide by our ordinances. So,
Until
so
some-
really,
Until some other judge somewhere rules on it. Or they
well,
appeal
yeah,
it.
if it goes up to Supreme Court or something.
Well,
but-
it's not gonna go there.
So,
But,
so you really,
All right,
you
we-
feel like it's not doable?
No, it's not non-doable. It's, again, you're talking about, you're stopping someone on a traffic stop, they have a pack of cigarettes that's
Right.
visible to you, and they're 18 or 19.
Okay.
It's probably, it's an extra ticket. It's
Okay.
doable.
that-
I don't,
And you might be saving that person's life.
I don't know, come on, you know,
Yeah.
it's kind of a stretch. you know.
Okay, it's a stretch, but it's got to
You know,
stand.
Christ, if you live near a major highway, you probably don't have a clue what you're breathing. You know,
Well, that's a
I
different
mean, you
issue.
open it up also to, hey, here's these kids at the mall. I think they're 18. Here's these kids. I'm complaining about them. They're 19. And it just, again, we're
Right.
not out, just like the.
Yeah, I
the
don't wanna
smoking thing, We're not
advertise
looking
this to
for
a
it, but we
fault,
could get called
you know.
to.
Let's let the state worry about it.
Right.
If they raise it, then
Right.
that's where we're at. I don't
okay,
look at it.
draft it.
I guess
with-
the other part of the issue, though, is, I mean, there are high schoolers that are 18, and I think that's a big part of the problem of some of the older kids giving it, or the younger siblings stealing it from them. But once, you know, if it gets up to 21, then there's clearly no one in high school, you're in college before you can either purchase or possess. So it just makes it a little cleaner in my mind in that regard. So, I mean, vaping is clearly an issue. We've heard it before, and we'll continue to hear about it. But, I mean, I have patients of my own that are 15, 14 that are already addicted to vaping. Mothers have brought one mother in particular brought her son in saying, what are we going to do about this? He's addicted to it. The kid denies it, but he clearly is. And he got it from a friend who got it from an older friend or something like that. And so that older friend was probably 18. I think it just makes it,
Well, that's why the 21 sale is,
Yeah, but
I'm all in favor of.
right, so the 21 sale is good, but
It could be better, but I mean, again, I think we gotta have the state behind this to change it.
did we have the state behind our smoking ordinance before we changed it in 2006?
No, not in the 21 years.
No, I'm saying inside restaurants,
The
in the restaurant.
Oh, yeah,
Vernon Hills was an advan, was
Yeah, we
ahead of
did
the
it
state.
before that.
Right, we did it before. So why aren't we doing this before?
We're not doing it at the possession of an 18-year-old. You want to make that 21. That's the bottom line.
That's the goal, yes.
Okay.
I'm just saying that we've been at the forefront in the past. There's no reason why we couldn't take that step now.
Yeah.
I agree that it might be a little bit tricky at times for the police department, but they can use their discretion, and just like many other things, they're clearly not stopping everyone who has a cell phone in their hand while they're driving,
Well, why don't you just-
because I see it all the time.
On
so
this
it's-
particular
but-
issue, you want me to, you should poll the board, you know.
I just had a question for Trustee Cook, which is, what's the position of the schools on this, in terms of possessing cigarettes at school?
You're not allowed
In
to
high
have schools
school.
on the grounds.
I'm sorry?
You're not allowed to have tobacco on the grounds, anywhere on the school grounds. I believe that's,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
I
at
think-
the high school.
The high school? I think it's,
well, the elementary schools are too young.
But, so you're speaking for the elementary and middle school? Do you know
I
for
believe-
sure
I-
for the high school?
I believe
I'm-
high school is, it's not, tobacco's not allowed
I
anywhere on the
think so
ground.
too, because that was brought when they
So
were here
18-year-old
before.
seniors could legally purchase it and possess it, but the school still bans it.
Correct.
And that's, and you're
All right.
advancing the point, saying that there are some examples where
Let me
where
start
there are
the
places
poll,
where it's not allowed.
Because we have other items. Doc, you want me, I clearly understand you want to start it at 18.
No, I went
21.
21.
21.
You want to do,
Raise it to 20.
I want to raise it to
Okay.
21.
Trustee Cook?
Sale 21, possession 18.
Yeah, I'd go sales 21, possession 18. Trustee Markwart?
Sales 21, possession 18.
Okay, Trustee Brown?
I agree with Oppenheim. I think that we could be in the forefront of something. So 21 for both.
Okay, and we got 2 trustees missing, so I guess you might want to leave that one open
Okay, very good. We could,
until we bring,
The full board back.
yeah, the formal ordinance, so.
that's, we could bring it back to unfinished business on the next meeting if that's the wishes.
Yeah, I
of the
mean, on
board.
the 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sounds
that's
good.
fine. Okay,
All right.
next is.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next is, blah, blah, blah. Is there any new business or communication to come before the board? If none, we'd like to adjourn the board meeting and go to committee of the whole. Is there a motion to that extent?
So made.
Second?
Motion is second. Roll call.
Trustee Takaoka?
Sorry.
Trustee Brown?
Here.
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. All right, the first item is approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes of October 2nd, 2018. Is there a
Excuse me,
motion?
Mr. Mayor. There will be an executive session of the village board meeting to discuss personnel matters, collective bargaining issues,
Oh, okay, yeah,
but no action will be taken after that.
right. Okay. So is there a motion to approve the committee of the whole meeting minutes of October 2nd, 2018?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
We got a second. Any comments, questions, deletions, corrections? If not, roll call.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz? Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Abstain?
Trustee Oppenheim?
Aye.
Trustee Takaoka?
You need, well, his abstention will go with the majority. Or do I, should I vote? All right, I'll vote it. Yeah, I approve the minutes. Okay, motion carries. You got that, Lisa?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, next is American Hotel Register Sales Tax Sharing Request. Representatives of American Hotel Register to address the committee of the whole.
Well, good evening. My name is Robert Baker. I'm the General Counsel at American Hotel Register Company. President Byrne and the trustees, I want to thank you for allowing us to appear before you. Before I start my presentation, I'd just like to introduce some of the special guests, the posse that came with me here. Right to the left, this is Sean Leahy, Laura Leahy, and Ryan Burkemper. These are all owners of American Hotel Register Company. And I have Becky Subnevsky, she's our Director of Tax. I have Christina Bear, who's our Corporate Counsel. I have Michelle Gomez, who's our Director of Quality. I think she's here to assess my performance tonight, I'm not sure, but she is a resident of Vernon Hills.
I got one question right now.
Yeah.
Sean, who's your dad? Oh, Patrick, sure. Well, I haven't seen you in a while.
Was it your father that just passed away?
No.
Or that's your uncle?
Unfortunately,
Your uncle.
Patrick.
Sorry for your loss.
How long ago was it?
That was,
Yeah, okay. Well, God rest everybody's souls.
so do you guys see it on your, you don't have to look, okay, good. All right,
I recognize it.
yes, okay.
Got an Irish flag up there? I'm like,
Yes, we do. Yeah, of course. The flag represent all the countries of the various employees that we have working there. So, obviously, the reason why they invited me, the company invited me as a representative to speak to you, is clearly I am a millennial. No, I truly think the reason why they've asked me to appear in front of you is because I have a history with the village. I was here in 2009 when we together, American Hotel Register Company, Restoration America, the Lake County YMCA, we all came together in a joint proposal where we donated product to Restoration America. Restoration America gave us gift cards, and we gave gift cards to the YMCA, who gave it out to different disenfranchised residents at the time in 2009. I also was there in that room in 2011 when we sat down and talked about the lacrosse tournament that we were going to have on our grounds that, as you may know, has since that time doubled in its size and has become probably the premier and maybe the largest lacrosse event in the country. And then in 2016, in this room right here, there are tables, we sat with the residents of Woodbine subdivision, talked about their noise concerns with our distribution center, and came up with the idea of building a wall, a noise-effacing wall, to address their concerns. And so you can see, we as entities, Village of Vernon Hills, American Hotel Register Company, have always sat together jointly on the same side of the table, working together to solve problems. So the fact that tonight I sit here on the opposite side of the table on different sides of an issue is really disappointing, I have to say, and it's kind of disheartening. It's really not
yeah,
that
I feel the same way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Not
so-
necessarily about your position, but you're asking.
Yeah, okay, well, we will talk about that. So,
That's why I set the record, the record straight, because I already talked to Bart.
understood,
Thanks.
understood.
So,
Yeah, so, but just so you know, I asked to come here tonight.
Okay.
And I asked to be in front of the trustees. And I wanted to present our case and to answer your questions. And the reason why I did that, I know I've already made this request. I've made it twice, and I've been denied twice. But it's easy to dismiss these things in a back room and without a public hearing. But I really wanted to be in front of you, the trustees, because you are elected to represent this community. And you're here not because it's your job, but because you love giving back, and you love helping your neighbors, and you like making Vernon Hills a place where a better place for yourselves, but I think mainly for your children as well. I also know that you as trustees, you circulate throughout the village. And maybe you, or maybe you know someone, a neighbor or whatever, who's had a kid who's worked at American Hotel as a summer intern, or maybe you've had one of your kids play in the soccer tournament that's on our property, or maybe you've come to our distribution center to collect items for pads or the other various charities that we support from our distribution center. So I wanted to see all of you and talk to you face to face and just make sure that you've fully heard our request and you understand it and you're satisfied that you have all the details so you can make an informed decision. So for those of you who don't know, American Hotel Register Company, it's an entity that has been in business since the Civil War. And we have been residents of Vernon Hills since 1998. Now, I'm going to show you a quick video here, and it's quick, trust me. And it's about us, and it gives you an insight into the type of a family-owned business that we are. So let's go. How do you know it? It worked on my computer, I don't know why.
Michael, can I help?
We may not see the video. All right. I'll get out of here and move on. Next. All right. That won't go. All right. I wanted you to see that video. And at some point, I hope you can't see that video because that video was put together for American Hotel Register Company by some very talented high school students out of Vernon Hills High School. And this is the type of relationship that we have with the students in the area. We've worked with them on a number of marketing projects like this. We have another video that shows our distribution center. And we also work with the students, the special education students from CEDAL. They come and work in our building every single day, and we have hired a number of them. We also have students from St. Martin de Porres. That's a college prep school in Waukegan, and they come and they work for us, and they learn real-life business skills, and we pay their tuition for the school. So clearly you can see we're a good corporate neighbor. If you look at some of the facts, and these are taken right out of your own 2017 annual financial report, we're the 5th largest taxpayer in your community, and now we're the 2nd largest.
Say property tax?
I said taxpayer, taxpayer.
Well, I mean, does that include the property tax?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Which all goes where?
It goes to your schools, it goes to
Not-
your fire district,
what's-
it goes to your libraries,
What
it goes to
school?
your parks.
What
it goes-
school?
Which schools?
You're 103 and 125.
We're Stevenson, they're kids from Vernon Hills that go to Stevenson. Do you deny Stevenson, the Vernon Hills kids don't go to Stevenson?
Yeah, there's some go there.
Yeah, they do, they do.
There's
And we're supporting your park district and your fire district and your library. And, I mean, we support your community. We're the 2nd largest employer, and guess what? The average wages that we pay, $76,894. We think that that makes us an employer that should be a draw for new residents who want to come for looking for stable jobs, good wages, and an employer who emphasizes the need to be charitable, the need to give back, and who pays its employees to volunteer in the community, all of which we do. Now, so
So you don't have a problem with every business that does retail sales in town, after they've been here 20 years, to come and make the same demand you're going to make shortly? You don't have a problem with that? You don't?
I don't.
'Cause this is a precedent that I don't agree with at all.
But-
Does anybody know what I told Bart when I talked to him on the phone?
Yes.
What did I tell
know.
him?
You
What did
already-
I tell him?
Hey, Mayor
What did I
Byrne,
tell them?
Mayor Byrne, you already
you
have a
do.
precedent. You already treat businesses unequally in your community. Hey, no, we have to pay 100% of our taxes. Other businesses do not. The precedent is always there. If I were you, you know what I would be concerned about? The precedent that you've set is, guess who you give sales tax revenue share to? You give it to businesses who threaten to leave your community. You give it to fill storefronts. Why wouldn't you want to give it to businesses who offer stable employment, offer good jobs, who want to draw people into your community, who then will want to stay here and raise their families because they can be close to the places where they work? If you look here, these are all of the places that we support. Let's see. So this is actually just kind of a sample. We support them either through the Leahy Foundation or through the company. And it's not only just through donations, we also do it through on-the-ground work. We have helped them to achieve their missions when we have people volunteer at their places where they do their charitable work. In addition, I've pointed out 4 instances where the village has asked us for support. This is just a sampling of the various times when we've been asked to lend our support, and we've always, always done it. There are others. The most recent was when the Bears wanted to use Vernon Hills High School for their practice, but they wouldn't do it unless they could use our parking. Absolutely, let everyone park in our space. So when you ask, we say yes. And we don't do it because it means more business for us. It absolutely does not. There is no vested interest for us to do this. And for the most part, it usually costs us more money. We have to pay for our security, pay for other people to be there, and it exposes us
But you charge
to
$10
liability.
a car.
We didn't charge for the
Wait,
Bears.
No, what, I didn't, I didn't finish my statement.
Okay.
For the lacrosse tournament.
That 100% goes to charity. Every single person
Okay.
who volunteers, that goes to charity.
All right, so it's
have no-
over 50,000 a year.
So what did I say? We have no vested interest. It does nothing for American Hotel. It helps your community. It goes back, that money goes back into your community.
Would somebody
into the
else take
charities.
$50,000 to, for their foundation or their
So you
charity?
don't support charities? You don't think the charities
No,
in your
I
community
didn't say
deserve $50,000?
We give money
don't-
all the time to the social
So do
services
we. So do we.
agency.
So why are you saying
No,
that
what
it's a
I'm saying
problem
is,
if we wanna
somebody
give
else would take the 50
$50,000?
grand. Somebody else would take the 50 grand.
And keep it. Someone else would take it and keep it.
Why-
They would
why
charge
do
it
you
and
say
keep
that?
it, and we don't.
Why do
We give
you
it
say
back.
that? How do you know, what are you, clairvoyant?
No, you're saying you have a problem with us donating our time for an entire
Okay.
weekend,
All right, let's do that,
working
yeah.
two shifts
We
all
get back
days.
on point, please.
Okay, okay. All right. So again, I know we don't pay property taxes, and we understand and we appreciate that. We absolutely do. But we do pay, as I indicated, we do pay property taxes, and those taxes do support the various entities that benefit your residents. So, given the changes in business today, every company out there is tripping over themselves to find employees who are versed in e-commerce, software analytics, digital engineering. We are told, in looking for these people, that for every 2 jobs out there, there's 1 person. So these are the highest paying starting jobs in the country. And guess what? These individuals, they don't want to come to Vernon Hills. Now, this is a new reality. They want trendy urban locations. Oops, I'm going to go back to, okay. They want trendy urban locations with lots of amenities. The desire for millennial employees is causing companies to flee the suburbs. As you saw that, 500 companies. Jeez. I think he's giving me a hard time here. 500 companies, of which half of them have come from the suburbs. Whoever thought, did Oprah ever think that McDonald's would leave and go downtown? So we have to find a way to be competitive with our big city counterparts. We need to offer comparable amenities that attract them so they're willing to make the commute to come out here. They are used to certain lifestyle offerings from the downtown employers, and we need to match those and do the same. These are not investments to help our business, but we do think they help the village and they help us. So if we can get them out here to work, they may ultimately want to leave or live nearby and settle down here. And this is important. I know our employees, our associates, they, eat at the restaurants here. They may shop at the stores after hours. But it's not just that. You get that too. What we want to do is continue to make Vernon Hills a desirable place to relocate to live, to maintain the property values. The long-term goal, your long-term goal, can't just be to get the immediate grab of retail dollars. It can't, especially in today's changing environment.
So then we should go to a property tax,
What?
a municipal property tax, if we don't collect the sales tax.
You can decide however
Is
you.
that what you're recommending?
What I'm recommending is, what I'm asking you to do
This-
is if we do a property tax share, we can create amenities.
No, you don't want
here
a property
drive
tax
people.
share.
Did you
want
mean
a-
a sales
No, I
tax?
didn't
Sales
say,
tax.
no, I didn't say, oh.
You
said
just said
property.
property.
Oh, I didn't
I'm
mean
trying
a
to help.
property tax, okay. Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is, you have a number of options to pursue before you go after a property tax. You have to do a significant amount of payouts you make to businesses that you pay $3.6 million a year to CDW. Our $130,000 a year shouldn't be that cause you much concern as much as
Did you appreciate I shared all the agreements with you?
You had to, I gave
No,
you.
I said get them to you, and we sent them to Bart, too.
Yeah, but guess what? I had already got it from a Freedom of Information Act last spring.
It's not
I asked.
true, but go ahead.
It is true. It's actually, attorney. Didn't I send a Freedom of Information ask in April of last year and got all of them? The only thing is,
Well,
is
then we
they-
sent it again, the synopsis.
so,
Well, you know why we did that with CDW? That was actually to bring them into town.
yeah, but guess what?
What?
You brought them into town and 15 years later, you gave it to them again. And you know what? Do you really think they would up and left? Do you think? You're giving them, oh, so, okay, so you think that they up and leave? Do you really then want to keep, you want to depend, you want to bet $36 million that there isn't going to be someone else that comes along and offers them a better deal?
Yeah,
I don't know.
good.
Yeah, but I don't know if you want to bet all your dollars on, keeping someone threatening to leave and then you give them a sales tax. Is that how you want to operate? Do you really think that's good public policy?
You're jumping
I'm
to
not
a
so
lot
sure.
of conclusions here, Bob, so go ahead.
Okay,
You know, you're
so
getting-
let's look at some of
you're
the,
getting pretty
let's
good at
look
it.
at some of the sales tax revenue agreements that you did pursue.
Go ahead.
And how they turned out for you. These three retail outlets, you gave them the sales tax revenue share in 2011. They're all closed by now.
So they didn't.
So these are-
And why don't you further explain, they didn't get a penny out of the deal?
Understood, but what I'm
Okay.
saying is maybe it's.
Well, that's a big difference.
Well, all I'm saying is, so we've been here since 1998, we've been in business since 1865. You bet your dollar on these retail operations that go in and out. You favor them over us, and you're unwilling to give us revenue share. We, who sit together jointly and try to give back and better our community, you'd rather work with these chains.
All three of
Those
these,
are
all three
empty
of these were,
boxes.
all
They
three
are
of these.
empty, yes, they are all empty
Excuse me,
boxes.
Excuse me, all three of these were an effort to replace and bring in a new business.
Understood.
Okay. just
Yeah,
wanna make that clear.
but you know what? If you think about it, maybe in begging your pardon, absolutely begging your pardon, your focus might be misdirected. You're looking at outside exteriors. You're looking at, you're not worried about what's going on behind those
Ken,
closed doors.
would you mind if I address a couple things?
Yeah.
Is that okay, Mayor?
Yeah, by all means.
First of all, let me agree with you on, you're about as good a corporate citizen as I've ever been, dealt with.
Okay.
I told Tom Leahy that many times. And I personally, this chair, I'd be willing to negotiate with you. I just think the current price tag is a little high because your timing could not be worse.
Okay.
And by that, I mean,
On stage, just put a.
yeah, all you got to do is look at the newspapers. Carson's closed, Sears filed bankruptcy.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't be
we're-
betting on retail. I agree with you. Retail traffic.
Exactly,
just-
but
you
hang
get-
on,
okay,
let me
go
finish.
ahead.
So you're asking us to share back some sales tax with you,
Which we just.
when our sales tax, we're having some problems right now maintaining our level.
Yeah, but you are,
And-
your overall budget is growing. You're going to grow by 1% by next year.
We just added a tax that I voted against to liquor sales and that stuff to supplement because of the problem we're running into. So.
Yes, but is
hang
my-
on,
is-
All bad that
please-
is dead in
Okay.
this,
Please let
you
me-
know?
But is
Please
our
let me finish.
130,000, I mean,
Please let me
thinking,
finish.
CDW gets 3.6
Please
million.
let me finish.
A year, okay, go ahead.
I'm willing to negotiate with you because
Okay.
you are about the best corporate citizen we've got. I agree with that. But right now, we actually have to look at some hard numbers, and it
So
it
it's,
is.
but
it
the
is-
hard numbers start with American Hotel?
No, they kind of start.
The
with
hard
the
numbers
TIF
start with the
districts.
village and paying for our police department and public
Absolutely.
works.
I agree with you.
And
But
right
I mean,
now,
the hard
our
numbers
sale-
in terms of how you treat businesses, does it start with American Hotel? That's what I'm asking you.
What part of what I'm saying are you not hearing?
Well, you're saying we have to
I'm
look at some
saying,
hard
I'm
numbers.
saying I agree with you,
Oh, good.
and I would like to help you.
Okay.
I'm not sure that we can afford to help you to the level that you're asking because of the problems we're facing. Your timing could not be worse. It's kind of like going to somebody, your Uncle Fred, who's always given you money every year, or you've always helped Uncle Fred, and now he's out of a job. you're not going to get anything from it. Because your timing couldn't be worse. It's the same sort of thing here. And that's why I'm willing to negotiate with you. I just don't know if I can go this high a dollar based on current problems with retail sales tax.
I understood, and I don't mean any offense at all. I'll take your example of Uncle Fred, though. Uncle Fred, you're saying, so Uncle Fred pays all the other kids except one, right? Every year, he's paying all the other kids except one. And the kid is fine with it. The kid's like, you know what, good, we can get by and all that. But you know what? Circumstances change. Things get hard. The same experiences you're having, we're having as well. We can't get people to come work out here. We don't want to open up an entity in Chicago. We want to have people come to Vernon Hills. So we go to Uncle Fred and go, hey, you've been paying all the people, all the other kids, all these years. How about you pay us 10% of what you pay the
But
other
if he
kids?
doesn't
And
have the
guess what?
money
No,
anymore,
no,
he can't.
Guess what? He continues to pay the other kids and says, I don't have the money to pay you. Here, everybody else. That's the real situation. What I'm saying, I'm asking $130,000 a year. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I really don't want us to fight about this. It wouldn't make sense for, okay. It wouldn't, is it on? Hello? Okay. It wouldn't make sense for us to continue to give to the community like we do and then turn around and take it back from you. This benefits, this is something for all of us. You need it as well. We can't get these people to come out here. So what I'm saying is, maybe you need to rethink some of the agreements, the retail agreements that you have. Because you know what? If you think about it, you're placing your dime on retail. And we've seen this across the country, and you see what happens. So you see the blight that's west on 60. You open Melody Farms, great. Destination, people are going to go there. And guess what? More and more of those retailers going down 60, they're going to close. And they're going to close. And I'll tell you why. Because on the weekends, you're going to get people, visitors from outside your community, come in, tour Melody Farms, great. Let's get a Starbucks, let's look at things. Then they're going to go home and they're going to go on Amazon and they're going to buy their things. That's the reality of it. And that's what we're saying. Look, we want to build an infrastructure that benefits all of us. Why can't we work together as we always have? You know, and I understand if it's a difficult time, but, you know, isn't this something that we can do together? We can talk about it.
I just said yes.
Yes. Well,
Well, he
can I
said
say, no, can I say what you said? You said, I'd like to negotiate with you, but it's a bad time. We don't think we can do it.
No. Let me
Okay.
restate it.
couldn't do it at the
Let
level.
me restate
You
it.
couldn't do it at the level.
The level you're asking is too high.
But can I?
I'm willing to negotiate because I agree with everything else you've said.
And I know you weren't party to the conversation. What I find myself kind of in a trick bag, because Mayor Byrne, in one instance, so you say 130,000 a year is too much. When I met with him, he's like, what are you going to do with 130,000? What possibly can you do with 130,000? So either it's too much
What, do you have
or
a
it's too
tape of
little.
that conversation?
What?
Do you have a tape of me saying that?
I met with you right over there. You were
Jesus
sitting at
Christ.
the end
You know,
of-
in all deference to you, and obviously, you know, I was instrumental along with a couple other people to bring American Hotel Register in town. I can't imagine Tom Leahy standing where you're standing and making this kind of request.
Oh, Tom knew about this. Tom was, when this first came up and we discussed it, Tom was party to those conversations. I don't understand, if we are a good employer, good corporate citizen, do everything right, and you say no. So I guess what we need to do is find the bordering communities that we border and go to them and say, what kind of deal will you give us? Because guess what? We're going to flee Vernon Hills and then come back to you, because I guess that's the way it works, huh? I mean,
In your mind, maybe, but trustee Oppenheimer.
that's what, hey,
Come on.
You know what?
Wait.
CDW is going to get $36 million in the time that we want 1.3, and you're telling us we're being difficult and greedy. What kind of things are they doing for your community?
Well, you can
You know,
answer your own
if-
question on that.
I don't see, I'm right next to them, and I don't want to fight with CDW, I really don't. I'm just saying,
Well, you-
if you look at them, you know, if I don't have the money to attract people and to grow our business, I may not have the money to run the security, to have the people on our grounds when we have the lacrosse tournament. I mean, we might have to
This
start
sales
shutting
tax
down
that we
those things.
collect Seems like it's a bane upon us, to be honest with you.
Seems it's what?
A bane. Because who else is going to ask? And you don't comprehend that comment.
No, I
So,
do.
you
I
know-
do comprehend it. Because, but why don't, you're worried about setting a precedent. I say set a good precedent. I say, come before us, and if you tell me what you do, what you bring into the community, how you benefit the community, we will consider it. But guess what? If you're not doing anything to improve the community, I'm not giving you sales tax revenue. And don't be afraid if you have a closed down storefront. It's gonna be the reality. You're gonna face it. You gotta think not about the exterior of the building, think about the interior of the building. What's going on inside there? Do you think people wanna move out here to work part-time retail jobs? Are they moving to work at the Gap in the mall, especially when the Gap in the mall is gonna close because Melody Farms just opened across the street? No, they're moving to come work at American Hotel, where they can have careers, where they can have a stable employment.
Okay, Dr. Oppenheim.
I agree with Trustee Cook's sentiments about you being a wonderful corporate partner, and we see it all the time in summer celebration, and my kid did participate in one of the soccer tournaments recently on your grounds, and we do appreciate that. In fact, I just pulled up a picture. I was in Costa Rica a couple of years ago, and a small hotel, and there was a tiny little bookshelf here, and I'll show it to you. There was an American Hotel Register book
Yeah.
there in Costa Rica, and I took a picture of that. And I showed it to my wife, and I thought, that's really cool. Little company from Vernon Hills in Costa Rica here. Certainly one of the main issues really is this precedent, and I wasn't party to any of the agreements regarding CDW, but most of.
And not just, I don't want to pick on CDW.
Well, and I understand that, but when we look at some of the other ones that do or did have agreements, most of those were to assist in improvements, not internally, but mostly externally, and either road work such as the Melody Farms or other types of build-outs that would adjust the facade of the building to make the building itself more enticing to that tenant and future tenants. I'm a little curious as to why you think, from what I guess we didn't really hear, and I wanted to hear from you what specifically those dollars were going to be used for, and why you felt that those dollars would make a big difference in terms of getting millennials to come to your business versus choosing to work in the city. If you can.
The first thing I want to say is, I think if we talk about interior improvements, which they will be, but I think that's misplaced. All we want to do is create things that drive employees, people to come out here. So I think it's about growing the employee base, attracting people to the community. That's what it's really about. Now, the things I'm going to describe for you, $100,000 or $130,000 a year are not going to cover. We've been doing these things in dribs and drabs to get them done. What we're looking for is a way to accelerate that, because when we survey potential prospective employees, when they want to come out here, we used to have the bus that took people from the train. Couldn't get people to do that. People say, they're working downtown, they go, we got open spaces, we got improved cafeteria with to-go foods that I can take home with me to eat, self-serve kiosk, coffee bar, technologically outfitted conference rooms, so when they set down their phones, their phones get charged. It's all these things, trust me. None of this stuff enhances our business. It doesn't. All it does is trying to get people to come work for us, because they're at the cool. And I'm not even talking about, there are businesses downtown where come 5 o'clock, they're wheeling a bar through to let the people drink it. we're not talking about that, but that's the kind of stuff that we're up against. So we almost have to step it up because they're going to have to commute. And I tell you, they don't want to. And I don't want to say it's all millennials, to throw millennials under the bus. I'm not trying to do that. It's these creative types as well. They don't have to be born between 84 and 94, whatever millennials are. It's just, more of them are heading downtown. They don't want to work out here. It's just, I know I've said this before. I want to emphasize it. We don't come to you very often. We don't come to you at all. But when we do, we want you to understand, you know, this is not a position necessarily I want to be in. You know, we like better giving as opposed to asking to take. But in this instance, we need it. We absolutely do, because I think the things that you're seeing, the things that you're facing, we're facing too. It's a tough business environment. And we've had to do a lot in terms of growing our technology, growing globally, the competition, the tariffs now we're facing. All of these things are reality. So it's only a small, I mean, well, I don't know, for 100, for you guys, it might be more, but it's like a joint effort. Let's do this together, because it isn't moving the needle on our business. And, you know, we're hoping that it can bring people in, and those people say, hey, you know what? It's not a bad place. I want to be close to work. There are, you know, new apartments here.
Trustee Schultz.
I understand about the bus. I worked for a company for a long time in this neighborhood, and they tried the bus. They still support it, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
The only thing that works is to have a presence downtown. And I know someplace along the line you stated you didn't want to do that. Can I ask why? Because I don't care what amenities you put in to this facility, you've got to be downtown, sir.
You know, maybe, I know hope is not a strategy.
All right, so you're betting on the come. I understand that.
But you know what, because we opened a space downtown. Okay,
My
sorry.
turn.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So, number one, let me just go on the record. I hate our deal with CDW. I wasn't around when that deal first got struck. I did vote in favor of the revised deal because it did mean more money for us. But with that being said, I just hate the idea of corporate welfare. Just irks me to no end. So, number one, you're not getting very far with me just from the get-go. But like I just said, the company that I worked for, right down the street, a lot of folks, but they had an office, they had to open an office downtown. The type of folks, I know exactly what you're looking for. You've got to be in their backyard. They're not going to take that reverse commute. Have you done the reverse commute up the Edens? It's brutal.
Yeah, I know. We have people that do.
I will go southbound anytime now as opposed to northbound during the morning rush. It's just absolutely horrible.
And
so with that being said, we're going to give you money to make your offices look better. And really, in my mind, it's not going to pay off. Not at all for what you're hoping.
But how do you feel about
But before I finish,
Okay.
I do want to commend you for being the outstanding corporate citizens that you've been to this village, to this entire southern Lake County area. You've been a great partner to us. I hope this doesn't spoil the relationship, but I can't see this chair going forward with any kind of deal. Maybe Trustee Cook can change my mind with some level of negotiation, but I don't see it, to be perfectly honest. And that, you don't need to respond. You've
No, I
made
just
your...
wondering, does it change, and I get where you're at in terms of corporate, does it change your position at all if the building's half empty?
Not really, because what you're going to need to do is, like they do along the Kennedy there, the presidential towers, you're going to need to get some subletters in there for a floor or two and open up that 20, 50, 80, 200,000 square foot of office
tried to do that in Lake County recently?
No, I'm talking about downtown.
Oh, no, we can find space downtown.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is.
Well,
does your
no,
position
if
change
you're
if
looking
building
for the
in Vernon
people you're
Hills
looking for,
is half empty?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if it works well in the city, if it becomes totally empty.
If
I
you
mean, does
have that as a requirement, I mean, you know,
No, I'm not saying, I'm just saying it's a reality. How does it,
Right.
are you okay?
No,
I mean, you don't like,
I'll
you
feel,
don't like
I'll
vacant
feel bad,
storefronts. Do you
I'll
feel
feel bad
different about
if
vacant
you have to
buildings?
vacate that office space, because it's a beautiful
Okay.
office space. We've tried to work with your company with regarding the original plans that you had for a little retail center out
Yeah.
front and a number of other things. And we're willing to work with whatever it takes to keep that campus a viable entity, but this is not a starter for me. Corporate welfare is not a starter for me.
Trustee
So you're
Brown.
starting with American Hotel. Okay. Go ahead.
I just
Trustee
have a
Brown?
comment. I have friends that travel to the city because they have better pay there perhaps. So I don't know if people come to work to buy coffee or sit outside. Honestly, they come to work. So offering them perhaps better pay or better benefits, I think will drive more people to come to work in Vernon Hills. Not,
It's a shame you didn't see our video. You could have seen the health club, the yoga, the wellness center, the things that we do offer. And we're one of the highest, you're one of your highest paid employers. I mean, it comes down to, I get it. I think even with the pay, we're having a hard time bringing people in. We've had people who have left and took jobs for less money downtown because they liked the environment, because it was a web-oriented business. And they were excited because it was kind of a startup and they wanted to pursue that. I don't want to just say it's a coffee bar, so people are going to rush out here. We're doing whatever we can. I see other businesses have asked you for it. I understand if now you're taking a harder line. All I'm saying, and I'm not here, please, I don't want to be threatening. It's just the reality that we face. There may be things, if half our people are moving downtown, we're changing our position. If we go to Lincolnshire or Matawa and they say, we'll give you 100%, like Matawa did to Granger, we're going to de-annex. I mean, I hate to say that. It's just kind of the world that we operate in.
Trustee Markwart.
As has been said from other trustees, yes, it's been, you have done an unbelievable job and have done a lot for the community. But I will emphasize back with Trustee Cook is that timing is bad. Everything's changed. We've lost $500,000 because of downstate. We're looking at the stores going out. You're coming to us, and again, I'm sorry, what was Uncle
Fred, yeah,
Uncle Fred?
who's out of work now.
Uncle Fred still is a point that you made a comment that he's giving to other individuals. Now, I'm a youngest of three, and I got the less out of it. And unfortunately, that's where it is. There's no place to go out of it. To look to give money right now, I don't know. We've had another individual that's done a lot of work here, Cy Taxman in Wansbet. We didn't give him anything. Nothing. Why? Because of the same reason. We're finding it very difficult right now.
I guess I should say, and because I want it on the record, what we're asking for is half of 1% of your total budget and 1.25% of your sales tax budget, and that's after the rebates are taken out, after the rebates are given to everybody else. So it's really 1.25 percentage point. That's all we're asking for. Just want to be sure.
But there's one major fallacy to your argument. When you're saying we've done this for everybody else and we won't do it for you. Here's the big difference. Every one of these that you pointed out, this agreement was a plus to our balance sheet because we were getting zero out of that space. And if giving them half of the new sales tax would bring that store to town, half of something is still more than half of nothing. And so they were always a plus to the balance sheet. In this case, there's no plus to the balance sheet. It's all on the minus side of the balance sheet. Okay? So it's not like, and that's the reason we're talking about, precedent has not been set.
Oh,
Hang on.
Okay.
It's not a case of, we have not set a precedent before like this, because these were all half of new sales tax increments. So if you want to talk about, that's another place to negotiate. If you want to talk about a percentage of, let's find out what your sales tax was this year and go up like we did with the mall, a percentage of the new, that's, we still get half of something.
But do you see, and I get what you're saying, it's a fallacy of what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is you've set a precedent already, because you do this. So what you're saying is, no.
Bob, you're missing the whole
You do a
Hold
sales
on,
tax share?
I will go with the precedent we've set. I will give you a percentage of the additional increment of your sales tax, not what you're currently paying. See, that's
So
where
we
you're.
didn't
that's-
ask in
no, wait.
96
You
or
are saying
98.
we set a precedent, and that is not true.
No, the precedent
These
you give
were
sale-
all
no, you say
half.
sales
These
tax
were all.
shares.
These were all deals on new tax revenue.
So what you're telling me is if you have a stable business in the community who's been here for years,
We've never
we have
done
to
it.
take it on the chin.
You said
we have to
precedent.
take it on the
We've
chin.
never done it.
So again, the inverse is then, if we say we're fleeing the community, then do we get it? If we say we're leaving Vernon Hills, do we get it?
No.
Okay, good enough. Thank you.
I mean.
Thank you. No, I mean, we're done.
I'm telling you the truth.
We're done. Yeah.
I mean,
We're good.
you
No,
got-
I mean.
Here, number
I've-
1, 2, and 3, and the Leahy family understands this. You are not CDW to this town. And that prompted us to enter in the first ever sales tax sharing agreement. And that's millions of dollars that have come in here. It's like having another shopping mall.
Yeah, but you know what?
Go ahead.
All their people are leaving. They're sending all their people away.
Okay.
You don't care
Well,
about
like-
people.
okay.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, I
We-
care
we
about
bring people
I
into
mean,
your community.
Hey, we got
We bring people-
26,000 people living in here, and 20 years ago, we had about 8,000. And we have one of the family members moving in.
Yeah.
So he must like the town within reason. Dirk. Right, Sean? Yeah, come on. I mean,
No, but I guess
Okay.
what I don't understand is, and I get.
No, I don't
you're saying
understand
You have to
you-
have a new business,
Wait a
so
second.
maybe we'll move out,
What is
and
this-
then we'll
is
decide
this
to come back in a year.
100
Does that do it?
I,
I'm trying to figure out what the thinking.
okay,
was.
if somebody can answer this, is every sales tax dollar, is this the nexus?
Yes.
Vernon Hills, every sales tax dollar.
Okay, well, not in Canada, not outside the US.
But everything where?
Out of Vernon Hills?
Yeah.
Headquarters? Yeah, in fact, what we do is, so we don't have nexus in the other states, we say the decision is made in Vernon Hills. That
Okay.
our salespeople don't have authority to close on deals. It has to come back to Vernon Hills for approval.
Okay, so what percentage of your sales in Illinois generates the $300,000?
What percentage of? You mean
It's
the?
30 million.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
okay. Menards is gonna do 60 million. Okay? Mariano's that we did a deal with, they do 600,000 a year, so does, Mariano's, and I mean, Menards. But the reality is, with Mariano's, that's already paid off. So now we get it all. And we did.
Well, and
the
from day
things
one,
we
we
did.
got a percentage of the new increment.
Right. And, again, yeah,
No, I get it.
I love,
understand
the
it.
Leahy family I know. I mean, they were great, great guys, okay?
So asking for your help doesn't make us great anymore? You ask us
No,
for help all the
I'm
time.
not talking to you. I could talk to the cloud here. I could talk to your dad, I could talk
No,
to
but
Jim,
but you're
and
saying,
I
why
could
are we
talk
not
to
great anymore?
Tom. This is an unreasonable request.
Okay,
This
I
is
got
for
it.
what,
You
a
got
lot
it.
of
It's
paint?
unreasonable.
You-
It's
you-
unreasonable. I get it.
Okay.
But when the public comes to us and they want something from us and we say no, I'll say, come to your village board and talk to them. They're the ones that said it's unreasonable.
Yeah, okay, I guess you got that power. You can do that.
Is that a
if you
threat?
want.
Sounds like.
Yeah,
The
it sounds like a
problem is that
Let's not.
if we approved it, then every single company would be asking for the same thing,
Turn them down.
Oh,
right?
my God.
You can set a precedent and say, be a good corporate citizen and we'll give you sales tax sharing. Don't be a good citizen, we're
Right,
not
but,
going to do it.
so they'll say, okay, we open up our mall parking lot to the,
Why does that?
whatever, or the Marianos will say, okay, we've given, whatever to charity, and now we want a new sales
But-
tax
but
agreement,
see
so
what
why?
You perpetuate threatening. You say, if you don't come in, if what you're perpetuating is threatening.
No,
Okay, if you don't pay me, I'm going down the street. I'm going to Mundelein. I'm going to Lincoln.
It's really the other way around. You're threatening us, saying you're gonna leave if we don't do
No,
that. The problem is every other
no,
company's gonna,
No, because.
every
all
other
it-
company
what
is gonna
you've
do
said
that.
What you said is, because you didn't do it in 1998, we won't consider it with you. Anybody else new down the street hasn't brought in one job, hasn't paid one person in Vernon Hills, they come to us and guess what? If they're in retail, we're going to give it to them.
No, but
Because
even
we're
if they-
afraid that we might have an empty storefront.
Even if they
I'm
have
telling you,
brought in jobs.
That's wrong-headed.
Right.
And it's wrong-headed in today's market because you're going to live and die on retail taxes. You are. I'm sorry. That's the reality. And guess what? You're going to want solid, stable businesses in your community.
And we absolutely
But I
do.
just heard tonight, we got to go look into downtown. We have to because it's the only way we're going to do this.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yeah, Counselor Hunt.
I had a couple questions, because essentially, I mean, I think the difference is you're talking about whether this is a portion of new revenue that isn't currently in the budget, or whether it's just asking for some of the revenue we're currently getting to give back. In essence, you're asking for the village's help.
Yes.
One of the things that I don't see in the presentation is what's the total budget that you're planning on spending for all of these improvements, the yoga studio, the hair salon, the coffee bar, all these things? What's the total investment you're proposing to make?
Excuse me.
I gave it to the newspaper reporter. I think it's about $3 million, I think, with ours and yours, $3.3 million.
All right, and one more question in two parts. What were your gross revenues last year, and what were your net profits?
Gross revenues were close to $1 billion. Net profits were 18 million? 18 million. I am not threatening that we're going to leave the community. I just don't know. That seems to be, if the only way we can get this sales tax break is to go to a community that it's new business for. I didn't realize that was the case. I thought we had a different kind of relationship. Now we'll have to pursue that as an option. And again, it's not to be threatening. You've given me the idea. You're saying that's the only way it works around here. And I get it. I get it. I'm sorry that that's the case, but I get it.
And in all those other jurisdictions, are they going to have a property tax that you're going to have to pay? And how much does that compare with what you're asking for in terms of a rebate here?
It'll be interesting to see. The one I really am interested in is Matawa because they gave Granger 100% of their sales tax.
Yeah, they also got some land out of the deal and some other things.
Yeah.
They-
Well, no,
you have
I
to
get it.
compare
I get it.
apples
We
with
got to
apples.
approach them and we got to see. But it seems to me, as you've indicated, it's the gravy. Hey, they don't get it now. We come walking in, they're going to get it. So, okay, they'll be
And how
much
much
more
does it
amenable.
cost you to build a new facility to go to Matawa?
What? We don't have to build a new facility. Matawa's right across the street from us. We border right against it. So it's, So, again, thank you for having me tonight. I appreciate you giving me the time.
Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone from the family want to say anything? Or the board? Well, I mean, do you want to, say anything, or just, that's it? Okay. Yeah.
If you could state your name for the record, too.
Name is Sean Leahy. I would say, look, we've helped you guys out over the years. I think it's a simple request. Personally, I would like to move people downtown. I think it's better for our business. I can tell you, as someone that has to hire people, I work for the organization, I find it very difficult every day. So we are running into this problem. As you know, there's a shortage of labor out there, and we are running into this problem daily. And so our only option at this point is to have to move some of this downtown. And we know CDW is doing it. We know Granger has offices down there. It is at this point our only option.
So what evidence do you have that these improvements that you're going to make is going to make any difference in terms of your
I
recruiting?
wouldn't say we have 100%. We don't know, but we do know, and I agree. I wish we had that video up. But I can tell you from culturally, when I look at the people there, these people love our business. So the average tenure of our people at the organization is probably a minimum of 10 years, right? Give or take? Which is unheard of. So people that come into this business love being there. They want to stay there. They enjoy being there. They love the benefits. If you hear the stories of the individuals that work there, they are very excited to be part of the culture. And you hear that constantly. Culture is the key that keeps our people staying there. And we do have people that commute every day. We did start a work from home program a few years ago. That's been helpful, but we only give them a couple days a week. If people are, there are people that we value their time and we want to give them some flexibility with their schedule. That being said, a lot of people look at us and say, you know what, I'm in the city, I'm getting a great gig here, and the commute kills me. And I've done the reverse commute as well. I worked at CDW actually about 20 years ago, and even then the reverse commute was terrible. So I get it. It's horrible. But the reality is that I know that the talent pool, the facilities we offer, people will come in and they're shocked and they think this is great. They love it. But I do know that a lot of these things could be.
But you say they're shocked in a good way or in a bad way?
They're shocked in a good way. They don't feel
Of what you have already.
what we have already.
So why do you feel like you need to add a coffee bar and a yoga studio?
Well, I think some of these improvements are things that they see already in facilities in the city, and they ask, why can't you have these here? Because they're even surprised that we have a workout facility in the building currently. These things do require improvement, coffee bar, these are things we're constantly trying to look for improvements. I don't have a list off the top of my head, but it's true that we don't have our HR VP here. She could tell you, based on the surveys, there's certain things that could be a big draw for people. Coffee bar being one of them,
I mean, that's only so much of a draw. I mean, there's a lot more to living in the city than just having a coffee bar in the place that you work. It's being able to go downstairs and go to a grocery store or to a club or to things down the street where there's other amenities. So I'm still not so convinced that that's really going to be the be-all, end-all of your issue here.
I completely understand. And again, if I had a list here, I'd help you out. But I think a lot of this would benefit us in the long run. And from getting good talent and at least showing face that we're bringing people in could be very helpful. So that's my case.
Okay. Do you have any land you'd like to sell?
Currently, no. Why do you ask that question?
I don't know, there's the 25 acres.
I would say right now, the family's very happy with what we have. School seems very happy with it as well, so.
Well, that was because of Tom.
Yeah, but the family is too. Again.
Yeah, I mean, it's a.
We enjoy that.
Yeah.
Roger, I apologize for interrupting you, but we like that it gives back to the community. We truly do, as family members. It's a good thing that we give back to them that way. And it is a nice thing to be able to see people using that field out there.
Well, I'll tell you what, I got an idea, but I'm not going to state it in front of the press. That maybe have a good, give you guys a better feeling about this whole process.
We can talk off road.
So whoever I should talk to, if it's Bob, I'll talk to Bob.
I appreciate it.
No, I'm only kidding. You know, hey, don't get me wrong, Bob's a good guy, Jesus, you know. But let me,
Bob's looking out for us.
I
He's
know,
looking out for
that's-
the family.
Okay.
And again, you know, we all live locally in the neighborhood, okay?
Yeah.
As you said, my cousin Dirk is moving to Vernon Hills. We all live in Lake County.
Yeah.
Or Mundelein live in Lake Forest, so we all support this community, and we enjoy being here. And I'm not moving into the city. I just know that it comes to mind when I think of the people that I'm trying to hire. And I look and I say, God, you know, there's some really good talent there. And we've gotten lucky. I will tell you, we've gotten really lucky getting some phenomenal people at our organization. And they don't want to leave. And we've had people say, look, I can't leave, and we've tried to do the work from home programs with them because we value their talent. Some of them actually live all the way out. We have one guy that lives out in Huntley, and for whatever reason, he does the commute out here, but only a couple times a week. So, but again, we want to try to work with people as much as possible, and at least the work from home is a way to bridge that too, to get people to continue at least. They feel that they're still in touch, and that helps us too. But believe it or not, that requires some investment on our part to do that as well from a technology standpoint, because we have to get them the technology in order to be able to work from home as well. So there's another thing we do have to invest in.
Sean, the billion is in sales in America.
Under $1 billion, it's not, it's under 900.
So outside of America, there's other sales.
No. What he was talking was global.
Okay.
It's 850, 900 here in the States.
All right, I don't have anything else to add, but I will talk with the board and staff and see if my idea floats, but I'm not bringing it up right here,
I understand.
okay? All right, Bob, it was nice seeing you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, that's it. Is there a motion to adjourn?
To go to closed session, right?
And
So
go to
made.
Closed session, yeah.
So made.
There's a motion and a second? Okay, roll. Yeah, okay, roll call.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Oppenheim?
Aye.
Trustee Takaoka? Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Motion carries. Oh, God, Tom.
Yeah.
Tom. No. This is, I got something that